All right, guys, we are back with another great episode of Basscast Radio. I'm your host, Brian Carter, and tonight is just me, guys. Geek is on the road again, man. Keep him in his prayers, guys. He is always out and rolling. So, guys, don't forget about Bass Geek. But welcome back to the show. Sorry we didn't have a show last week, guys. I was at Bugs Island for 5 days. Yeah, 5 days. We stayed down there for the Open, Bassmaster Open. That was an awesome event. Congratulations to everyone. Even my boy Jacob almost cashed a check. So that was pretty freaking cool. Had a great time. It was great getting to see a lot of elite anglers, uh, as well as, just some of the local guys do very, very well on their home body of water. And even some from North Carolina come up to fish the Open. If I remember them correctly saying, it's been like many decades since the Open or any elite event was at was a Bugs Island. Bass event that was a Bugs. And I remember looking back up, I'm not sure if I'm 100% right when it was, but there was a Bassmaster Classic at Bugs Island one year. I mean, I passed by a shop that had a t-shirt, small little town with a big lake. And that's what it is. I mean, you figure that lake goes all the way to North Carolina. I mean, there's plenty of room to fish if you want to run and gun on Bugs Island. So that was a great event. And then I stayed over for the Bass Nation of Virginia event. And man, what a great weekend it was for that. So, the weights pretty much held about what we thought they would based on the lake and how much it had been beaten up. But, congratulations to all those who cashed a check. And last but not least, Danielle went up and covered the Big Bass Tour. And as always, guys, she interviewed the gentleman who won, and he's like, I only fish one day because the big bass gonna be caught the one day. And I hate to say it, he's pretty much right. I mean, it's probably 90% of the time the big bass is caught day one. There has been a few scares. I've been up there for them where not scares, but scares where it's like someone brings in the last hour, one right before the last hour. It's really freaking close. But congratulations to, like I said, everyone that cashed a check. I mean, I heard, I don't know how more facts here that I was told, but I heard is it like 3,000? I mean, not 3,000, 1,000 anglers fished that event. So, man, all I know is a great turnout. You got the spring one. I mean, you got the spring one wrapped up, and then we got the fall one up and coming. So, if you weren't able to fish the spring version of the Big Bass Tour, come on out and fish the fall. The basscast.com will be there, hopefully, as always. And guys, man, what a great weekend it was, man. Bugs Island, Smith Mountain Lake. I'm not going anywhere this weekend, kind of chilling. It is Mother's Day, guys. So happy Mother's Day to everyone out there this weekend. And then next weekend, the basscast.com will be back on the road again. And we are heading to the Cat Championship back down on Kerr Lake. So we're back down there again. So look forward to seeing all of them. I don't know how many anglers are fishing the Cat, but I bet you it's over 200 will be down there fishing that. So that's where we are. That's what's going on right here. Oh, yeah. Don't forget, guys, the month-long kayak series event is going on. I looked today, and we're up to like 98 inches is what's leading the month-long event. And if you want to go to the Basscast Kayak Series Facebook page, you can click the link there, or you can go to basscast.com and click on kayak, and you can watch these anglers compete for the month-long event. And last but not least, the team event for the Basscast Kayak Series is the 21st, 22nd, same weekend as the Cat Championship. So lots going on. A lot is happening right here. It's that time of the year. Guys, like I said, I went down to the Bassmaster Opens, had an awesome time. Danielle helped me cover, got a bunch of reels, got a bunch of videos for you guys who are on Instagram following the basscast.com. But We have on tonight Mr. John Garrett. He is an EQ angler fishing the opens to get his chance to fish the Bassmaster, to get that invite to fish the Bassmaster Elite Series. Um, he's currently the leading right now in points. So I went and did a little research on that. The top 3 points from each division, as well as the top three overall, get an invite to fish the 2024 Bassmaster Elite Series if you are an EQ angler. And then if you win an event, you get to go to the Bassmaster Classic. So, and then you have to win that or get pretty good, and hopefully they pick you up and you go from there. But like I said, tonight, Mr. John Garrett, give us a look back and talk about the season. He came to the college rankings, so he's another one that's come up to the Bassmaster College. But got a lot of questions. We're gonna get a lot of answers. We appreciate all of you guys who are listening to Basscast Radio. And like I said, Mr. John Garrett. All right, guys, Mr. John Garrett, welcome to the show, brother.
Yeah, Brian, I appreciate you having me. Been looking forward to this. So
Yeah, it was great getting to meet you. You know, that was the cool thing. You know, I talked to a bunch of guys at work about the Open, and it was great to meet a lot of the guys I've done podcasts with in the past. And you don't, unless you go to all these events, you don't see everybody, and you got to do a lot of traveling like you guys are doing. You don't get that opportunity to meet all the guests we have on the show. So it's really, really cool to meet our guests and meet new guests like yourself. So we appreciate that.
absolutely.
All right, let's get this ball rolling, man. John Garrett fishing. Who is John Garrett? Like I said, I just met you the other day, so we're all going to learn together.
Yep. John Garrett, I am from a very small town, Northwest Tennessee, called Union City. Kind of grew up hunting, duck hunting, deer hunting, fishing on Kentucky Lake. Kind of got rose up that way. My granddad and dad were big in the outdoors.
Yeah.
They had a family marina business, so I grew up around boats since I was little bitty, and got lucky enough that really my granddad would take me out hunting and fishing every weekend or afternoons after school when he got off work. So just kind of who I am. I grew up in a little small Roofa Lake Junior Bass Club,
Okay.
and my sophomore year of high school, I helped start a fishing team.
Oh,
So
cool.
that was kind of I guess, the roots of my tournament fishing career was my high school fishing team. And it was not to the extent that it is today. You know, we were having 50, 60 boats in our high school tournaments then. And you look at it now and there's, unlimited amount, until they cap off the field, if they even do. So
Yeah, yeah. How many kids are in your high school fishing club? Three,
at that,
four.
at that time, we had maybe four teams. When I started out, we had to have three or four for the school to even accept it.
Oh,
Now it's grown. Now there's probably 20, 25 teams on that program. So,
that is awesome.
yep.
Do you have any involvement with it today?
No, I kind of go there and speak every now and then and talk to
Okay.
some of the kids. Just kind of a small role. A lot of the kids reach out to me when they go places, and I kind of tell them what I think of the places and, that kind of stuff. So,
All right. So you went on from high school into college. You did a little
and
college fishing as well, man.
yeah, I actually had a scholarship to Bethel
Bethel.
University.
And we
Yeah.
all know what Bethel is. My goodness. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like you want to go fishing, you want to learn fishing, be a pro, go to Bethel. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. I actually had pretty much zero interest in college when I was in my senior year of high school. I did decent in some high school tournaments, and I'm kind of local to Bethel. I'm only about an hour from there.
okay.
And the coach there kind of recruited me in a way. Come up to my family's boat shop while we were working and just kind of made an offer. Hey, you want to come fish for me? We'll give you a scholarship, get your education as well. And that's kind of how I got into that, kind of unexpected, really. And that's where my career and fishing background took off, was there at Bethel.
Because Bethel guys, if you guys don't know this, like he just said, the scholarship, it's one of like very few colleges to give a scholarship for bass fishing.
Yeah, and at that time in the 20, I'd say they started in 2012 to 2016 timeframe. They were the only one for a
Yeah,
long
they
time.
were the only one then. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess it just, I would hate to say this, but it kind of become a small powerhouse in the fishing world. They had kind of the power of which people they picked through, which people got scholarships, and man, we had a when I was there, my 5 years there, we had an awesome group of anglers there, and we all learned from each other, and it benefited all of us for sure.
Yeah, you guys, I mean, just looking on the basscast.com and any of the, the Bassmaster, probably FLW sites as well, like you said, they had I mean, it was nothing to see you guys in the top five at almost every tournament.
Yeah, yeah, we had a pretty diverse background. We had Cole Floyd from Ohio, had Cody Huff from Missouri. I mean, we had so many, not naming everybody, KJ, and
Yeah.
we had such a diverse group, and we're all really good friends. And we would travel somewhere. We were all in different boats, so you take five really good anglers from diverse backgrounds, we'd break a place down insanely fast, and we clue each other in. And a lot of times we'd all five or six teams be in the top 10. I mean, it was really cool to go these places, learn from each other, techniques, and break bodies of water down for sure.
So, guys, as John just said, you need to pick a college fishing team if you really want to go this. If you want to go the college route, you don't. Everyone doesn't have to, but John will probably tell me right here that college fishing experience, like you just said earlier, that's when your fishing career took off, has made you into the angler you are today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was fortunate enough to have kind of the funds paid for through college, but a lot of college clubs do now. So you're getting to travel around to these places that you've never been to or you never would go to. I'm not saying for free because it always costs something, but
Yeah.
if the club foots the bill, it's free experience. You're learning so much at a very little cost. Now, just you can't get that anywhere else for sure.
What's one of your biggest takeaways from college, man? Besides getting the opportunity, is we're gonna move into later fishing the classic.
Probably the friendships that I built. Honestly, that group of anglers that we had at Bethel, man, we're just tight knit together. I mean, we're on the phone every week. We're talking to each other. We're still all fishing pretty much. But yeah, just great friendships for sure.
So, as you guys just heard, 2017, Manny went to the classic through the college. And he's picked Fish Lake Conroe. I mean, that's a different realm all of itself together. I mean, I talked to a lot of anglers and a lot of guys. This is their first time ever fishing a classic, and it's a whole lot happening in 1 week.
Yeah, for sure. I did an interview back then, right after the classic, and there was no better way to put it is that I got taken out of a small, fishing, college fishing deal, and I got thrown in a pen of wolves. I mean, these guys that have so much experience, the guys that fished, 10 or 15 classics, guys that have done this for a living, all wanting to win that tournament. I just kind of got thrown in the middle of them. Um, Extremely glad I did. Man, I was just so young and inexperienced at that time. I kind of told myself, look, I'm going to go into the week. I'm going to, just not get stressed out. I'm just going to enjoy myself. And looking back on it, I'm kind of glad I did that. But man, I had a great week, and me being there and experiencing that. When I left, there was one thing I thought is I want to be back on that classic stage as many times I possibly can. It was just a surreal feeling for sure.
That's awesome, man. That's pretty freaking cool. I mean, how old were you then? You're not that old now. I mean,
Yeah, I was 19 when I fished.
wow.
Yep,
And you talk about that now, we got 19-year-olds fishing the elites.
yep, yep. We do for sure. Yeah.
I mean, it's so much has changed, and so many people have come up through the college rankings that it's crazy.
Hmm. Yeah, it's just it seems like the younger generation, even that 17, 19-year old time frame of people, they have so much further, experience and even what I
Mhm.
did because they went through a full high school fishing career, full college fishing career, and the experience they have now compared to what 17, 18, 19 year olds did 10 years ago, it's far greater for sure.
You guys all know we bring up the knowledge thing. YouTube's a big thing a lot of people go to. We got Google Maps. I mean, there's the technology itself has changed so much that, if you can actually just take the information that's out there and take your fishing information, as well as the information you read. Besides scanning the lake, you almost know pretty much what you're getting into when you show up.
Yeah, for sure. Just the only thing is just having on the water experience on that
Yeah.
place. You, you can have all the tournament history, basically go back through Google Earth, find the lake when it's nearly dry. You pretty much know what you're getting into before you get there,
Yeah.
besides actual on the water on that time experience for sure.
How do you think college helped you break down a body of water, man?
It really did. What it kind of told me is that I was so like, before high school, I would have, and before I had a fishing partner with me, like I did in college, I would go to a place with 3 or 4 lures tied on, and I would go into put in a boat ramp. I'd stay within 4 or 5 miles of the boat ramp, fish those 3 or 4 lures all day long. And I realized, that I didn't really have a productive day in college unless I had 30, 40 baits in the floor. I've tried all my baits in my tackle boxes.
Mm-hmm.
I've, I've seen majority of the lake. I guess what I learned in college the most is that really, for me, I guess sightseeing the lake was really big because, like I said, I would get so honed in on kind of breaking down a small area. I wouldn't branch out and see the lake.
Right.
And I learned that in college pretty quick, getting my butt whooped the first few tournaments. I'm like, what are those guys doing? Well, they're joyriding a lot. They're seeing what all the lake has to offer, and I picked up on that pretty quick. So I learned that in college very well.
I ain't gonna throw this out for you guys who are listening, but I know an angler right here in Central Virginia. I've been told he'll cruise the lake at night.
Really?
Electronics are all blown up. You can see everything. You don't have that sun beaming down on your electronics, and he's just cruising the lake,
Yeah. Wow.
just looking.
Yep. Just looking. I guess something else you can pick up on at night is you can really see where a bunch of dock lights are too. Um,
Yes.
See where places are lit up at night. Be pretty good early morning bites. That'd be pretty cool that not a lot of people do.
Very, very, very true. So looking back on the classic, man, I mean, that's like the pinnacle of almost anyone's career is for the first time ever fishing a Bassmaster Classic. Whether you do well or not, just actually being able to be there. I mean,
Mhm.
that's an achievement.
Yeah, I'll forever be grateful for that for sure. And hopefully I'll be back to fishing a few more times. But right now, definitely highlight of my career. Something I always look back on, and something that I'm striving towards each Open, or hopefully in the Elite Series in the future, to making that as many times as I can.
All right, so let's dive into the opens themselves. Guys, like I said earlier, he's currently leading in points. He has 577 points as of right now. 3 events in. He did help me correct me on it. It's 9 guys. The top 9 in points get to go get an opportunity to go fish the elites. Um, and Matt, is that right? Henry, yeah, he's 545 points. So it's pretty close. We're only 3 events in. Um, I'm big on numbers, so hold on, John. Um, Lake Eufaula in Alabama, guys, he finished fourth. Toledo Bend, he finished fourth. And just this past weekend on Bugs Island, he finished 18th, just right out of the final day, man. 8 places out of the final day.
Yeah,
What a season.
so far so good for sure. I've those first 2 tournaments really surprisingly fit how I like to fish. I'm a big Tennessee River guy. I like
Yeah.
fishing all over, deep cranking, and rolling into Eufaula. somehow that played out. There's a lot of offshore fish when we thought they were going to be shallow, and I was able to kind of catch them deep cranking, fishing offshore schools, doing that kind of thing. We roll on to Toledo Bend. Same thing. I thought that I was going to be fishing shallow, ended up finding an offshore bite. And those two tournaments kind of played out pretty well for me. And Bugs Island came around. I really forced a shallow deal, couldn't find it, and was able to catch them offshore again. So cannot complain with how the seasons went. And something that's been happening to me this year that normally doesn't, it seems like each day I pick up that bite that you hear about people getting.
Right.
Hey, I was rolling in to weigh in, like at Bugs Island. I pulled off into a pocket with 5 minutes left, catch a 3.5 pounder. And Toledo Bend, I was fishing a deep school of fish it was mostly my keeper spot. And I look out on my forward facing and I see a little group of fish swimming. I toss to them, catch a 5 pounder, put in a box, stand back up. They're still there, toss out there, catch another 5 pounder.
Oh, wow.
So stuff had just been kind of, I wouldn't say falling in my lap this year, but going really smoothly so far, kind of picking up bites where, I usually don't. So far, so good, like I said.
So I look back at, the opens from the past from you, and they've been kind of up and down.
Yep. Yeah, I've had some, 2020, I lost getting in the elites by a tiebreaker.
Wow.
And, and through the Central Division, I came in 13th in the tournament. I tied for 11th and 12th, and I missed out by getting in by 1 point to Joseph Webster.
Mm.
Um, the year before that, I was second man out of the overall at the time. And last year, I kind of had this like, hey, I'm about to knock this year out of the park. I got all this opens experience.
Right.
And my first tournament was okay. Out of the first four tournaments, I only cut one check. I had like a 60th, a 158,
Yeah.
28th, like a 170. And then I kind of turned my season around and ended up creeping back. I didn't get in the points race, but I crept back through the rest of the year. But this year I've kind of taken a step back and kind of learning from what I've done in the past. I've got so keyed in on like, I got to find stuff so sneaky since we're in a 250 boat field.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I kind of got caught up where I've done bad in the past, where I don't really fish stuff that looks good and obvious. And this year I've been trying to do a fair mix of both. And especially Toledo Bend, I fished stuff that just stuck out like a sore thumb on the map. Just blatantly obvious stuff, which is something I
Right.
wouldn't have done in the past couple of years. So
See, like you said, stopping yourself from getting spun out.
yeah, I would say so. You know, I, I'm so used to trying to find like a little gold mine, little gold nugget out there on a lake or place I can sit
Right.
there when I don't really get focused on, okay, well, how do I pick up just a decent limit to do well this tournament? That's something I've been trying to do better this year. Find a way to get bit, find a way to catch some keepers, and then find out a way to potentially win a tournament. That don't always happen, but
Oh,
find a way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Going into Bugs Island. That was your first trip to Bugs, right?
First trip to Bugs Island. Yep, sure was.
Going into our own home. I didn't say home, but local lake for us. What was some of the takeaways that you had from that event?
Probably the same. Probably the biggest thing was I'm not a bad shallow water fisherman, but I wouldn't say I'm a great shallow water fisherman.
Okay.
And coming there, all I heard in research and is fish bushes, fish sweet gum trees, go fish points.
Mm-hmm.
And I really forced that deal and it didn't get on anything great. I was like, okay, well, let me fish the way I like to fish. So I actually got offshore and caught fish, spawning offshore on stumps and brush piles and whatnot. Um, I guess it gave me more comfort into trusting what I do instead of what I'm supposed to do.
Okay.
Um, I went there, preconceived notions, go fish shallow. It didn't really work out for me. and ended up fishing. I wouldn't say deep, but I fished offshore like I like to.
Right.
Ended up doing fairly well. Yeah.
Yeah, Bugs, like I was telling some people there that, Bugs is one of the places I've seen people some huge leads going into the final day. And it almost happened. I mean, it really did. I mean, it was close coming down to the end that where, it'd go from this. I don't have the shirt on today, but it's hero to zero.
Yeah.
I mean, real quick in Bugs Island. And I've seen it a lot.
Yeah, that place it's a special place. It really is. It has a good number of fish in it. And I mean, you've seen that correlate with the weights we had. There's a lot of 10-pound bags, but a
Mm-hmm.
good bite was hard to come by. So, the guy that won figured out how to get a few good bites, and man, he definitely had a big lead for sure. But actually looking back, I really liked the place. Great place for a tournament. It kind of ate the 225 boat field we had. So overall, I feel like it's a great venue for the opens.
Yeah, Bugs definitely helps spread the boats out.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think you guys are sitting too many people on top of each other in Bugs Island.
Yeah. No, there's very few places that I go to throughout the year that I'm not running to a place a couple miles away and there's a boat on it. And at Bugs Island, I don't know if I ever went somewhere to fish and there was somebody there. So it just shows how good that spread the field out.
What was your main technique and setup for
I would,
Bugs?
yeah, I caught every one of my fish on a drop shot, strike king filler worm.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I was actually catching fry garters and spawners on offshore stumps. So I caught all my fish that may not have been spawning during the tournament, but they were spawning in practice. A lot of the males I caught were garden fry. I only weighed two females in the whole tournament, but they were out there on stumps from 8 to 12 foot off flat points.
So, guys, hopefully by now you've seen the photos. We all went from wearing thermal underwear on the first day because there's 80-mile-an-hour winds. Something that we had, I mean, me personally, I've been doing this for over a decade now, and I've never seen the winds like that. And some people said it's only been a very few times for those who live on that lake that they saw the winds that bad. But this was a tournament where you had to break down pretty much every single day.
Yeah, for sure. We had water coming up
Yep.
half a foot a day in practice. Had a lot of rain, a lot of color coming through the upper river, a lot of floating trash, and man, we had, like you said, crazy winds. And
But
they
then
were
they
blowing.
started dropping water again.
They did. I mean, it was every day that lake was changing, whether for the better or worse. People had it both ways, but it was a deal where you could catch them doing one thing one day, and that thing would completely not work the next, just because of how much that place was changing.
Because I talked to a lot of guys and they started draining the lake. I think the final day or the day before they started dropping the lake again. But like you said, it did have a lot of trash in it, which is very unusual. And it was staying. And I think the further you went up, the further you went up the lake, it did get a lot cleaner.
Yep.
So, because I took a loop around in the vehicle to check everything out while you guys were out there fishing, and yeah, it did clear up the further you went away. But this is one of those tournaments where you had to have your in gear. Really, I mean, you had to really be ready for different conditions each and every day. Because the final day, I mean, the wind picked back up again a little bit, but it was bluebird for the most part and 85 degrees outside.
Yeah, for sure. Those guys that made the top 10, they prepared for each day, for sure. I mean, I didn't make the top 10. I fairly close, but the whole full day and half a day, last couple of days of practice, I prepared for that west wind. So I tried to find places that were protected from the wind, and kind of fishing off the bank, so those fish weren't as affected by the rising and falling water. And then I've kind of burned all my fish that I found in practice for that, that literally that one day of the tournament where it was blowing 30 to 40 mile an hour.
Right.
But that was kind of what kept me in that tournament, was preparing for literally that first day of the tournament. So I know those guys that made the top 10, they did the same exact thing. You can't just go out there with changing conditions that much and have a wind blowing that hard and them not be prepared for that exact weather.
So you were one of the lucky ones who did find, John, you were one of the lucky ones who did find, that right location. But as we were talking to a lot of the guys there, they were ready for day two already because they weren't able to get to their spots. So day two saved a lot. Jack Dice is one of them. I mean, Jack came in with a great bag, which ended up putting him in the top 10 so he could fish the final day. But it was, like I said, I mean, it's one of them days where you had to be prepared for something different each and every day. The only thing we didn't get's the pouring down rain.
Yeah, yeah, we definitely had some crazy weather for that one for sure.
If you got a tip for bugs, just from what you don't learn, just a couple of days you've been there, and what you experienced, what's a great tip for someone hitting bugs here in the next week or two?
Well, for one, kind of the way I found that place, there's so many fish in that lake. You could fish your style of fishing and catch fish.
Oh yeah.
Whether you want to be off the bank, whether you want to be fishing points or pockets or flipping bushes, you can go fish how you feel comfortable and catch fish there. But I really think with this warming trend we got, the lake kind of settling out, be a lot of fish around bluegill beds. I feel like the herring spawn supposedly should be picking up there. That spawn. But yeah, I think that kind of stuff. Spinner bait around points, top-water baits, and around bluegill beds should be pretty good upcoming soon there.
All right, guys. There's a little tip for Bugs Island for you guys. There's a BFL there's weekend, and the weekend after that, there's a cat championship. So another 200 and 300 boats in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
A lot more pressure for that lake. So
yeah, for sure.
But like I said, it can absorb it. So, but guys, as we said earlier, we're 3 events into the 2023 season, 6 more left to go. Your thoughts on that, and your thoughts on, is there a lake that you said, hey, I'm looking forward to this lake or river?
Yeah. When the schedule came out, I wasn't just like too crazy about it. I guess the two I would be looking for the most is the upcoming one on Wheeler.
Yeah.
That's at River Lake. Although Wheeler's going to fish very small, it's going to be one of the smallest fisheries we're going to be to all year, or going to be at all year, and St. Lawrence River.
Okay.
And I've done really good on smallmouth fisheries. That place you could spread boats out, you could find little hidey holes. But those two places, I feel like that, at least in my mind, I should be able to do something decent there.
Guys, John Garrett, man, appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you for talking to us. Thank you for taking a little time out of your schedule. It's a pleasure to meet you down there, by the way.
Yep, same to you, Ron.
John Garrett Fishing, that's your Instagram handle, right?
Yes, sir. Correct.
And anywhere else that people can follow you?
I got a Facebook page as well as John Garrett Outdoors. Those are my two social platforms.
So make sure you guys give him a follow. Follow the journey, the Opens journey. I had a great time. It was really good. I mean, Bassmaster did a heck of a job with it. I wasn't. This was my second Open I've been to. I went to one last year, and I hung out with John Sokup and all the boys. And I can't remember if we went to Potomac or James. Did you guys go? It was just a Potomac last year, right?
James last year.
James, that's right. It was. So me and Danielle rode up for the final day on the James and hung out with a lot of great anglers. But guys, if you get a chance to go see an Opens event, you never know what elite angler you're going to see. John's going to be at every one of them because he wants to qualify in the top 9, so he gets that invitation to fish the Elite Series. But like I said, Bass does an amazing job. They did cover. Holy cow, they have 3 or 4 photographers, 3 writers. I mean, guys, they had this thing like covered from head to toe.
Yeah, the Opens has a really good platform for us upcoming anglers for sure. They do a good job pressing the tournaments. They're wanting to push the EQ a little more than they have been as well. But yeah, they do a great job on coverage for sure.
How many EQ anglers are signed up? I think Danielle said 50. Is that right?
We're at 178 for the year.
178 EQ
100,
anglers.
178 fishing all 9 opens.
Holy
Yep. Yeah, big field.
cow. Wow. And they take 9 guys. Did you hear that? 178 and 169 won't make it.
Slim chances.
It's slim chances, but
Yeah.
John, man, we hope you do make it. We hope you make it into the Elite Series. Hopefully we'll see you at a Bassmaster Classic really, really soon. We hope we hope this Open. We spent a little time with I think it was one of the ladies that worked for the town down there, and she loved it. And if she has her way, she's going to have you guys back every single year.
Yeah. Well, that's a good venue for bass to go to. So hopefully they keep that connection rolling.
I think it's great because I mean it's plenty of boat ramps around there. And not all of them are huge, but there's plenty of boat ramps. Now staying kind of sucks down there. It does. So you got to book a place. Or I was told a lot of you guys stay, like some stay at South Boston, some stay at South Hill. We're driving like 30 minutes back and forth.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty remote area, which is, you know, finding a place to stay isn't the easiest, but also kind of makes it safer on us as well instead of staying near a big town.
Right.
Something I kind of like. So
That's cool. That's
yeah,
our, guys, and for you guys who want to know why the elites have not been back, that's another reason why, on top of the money, but the elites, because we're heck an hour to an hour and a half away just from the launch.
yeah,
And that kind of, that doesn't help on top of the money aspect of it as well. But I was told that they've been trying to get the college kids there next year, and I don't think that actually panned out. So I mean, come on, Smith Mountain Lake, you guys, we just got tiger bass. The lake has then got 9-pound bass. I mean,
yeah,
they're catching 8s.
yeah. I've
Lunkers.
been hearing great things about that place for sure.
Yes, it is. It's just missing a couple places to stay. That's about it. I mean, it is a paradise now. It really is. I mean, and there's no reason why there shouldn't be bigger events on Smith Mountain Lake. So hopefully we can have bigger events here really, really soon, besides some BFLs. And there are some regular college series events, but nothing like the college series championship or anything of that nature. So
Yeah.
John, appreciate you. Anytime you want to come on, love to have you back on the show. Guys, like I said, please follow his journey in 2023. Now let's hopefully get you back on maybe midway through and catch up with you and see how you're doing.
I'd love that, Brian. I appreciate you having me. And yeah, hopefully we get back on maybe at the end of the season after hopefully
Yeah.
we've been top 9 of points for sure. So that's the goal.
Hey guys, NPFL Pro John Soka, 2-time champion. Check me out on the Basscast Radio.
All right, guys, we really appreciate John Garrett coming on and talking with us tonight. Sorry about that. What a great show. Getting to know him. I mean, he's low key. The guy's got a stick. And a lot's changed for him in a couple years. College, you name it. I ain't gonna lie, guys. If you, I wasn't the best in school, I ain't gonna lie, it's not me. But if you are wanting to go to school and you are wanting to fish in the Elite Series or any series out there, find a high school team if you can. If you can't, that's cool. I understand that you can't move between divisions, but find you a really cool college team and get out there. And like you said, the college will pay a lot of your bills for you to get that opportunity to go out there and try and fish a bunch of different bodies of water that you'd have to pay out of your pocket. I mean, whether you win, lose, or draw that event, you get that experience and then you get that teamwork experience. So then when you get into these opens like John's fishing, or you get into the Elite Series, you go with working with other anglers, you get it with communication with other anglers, and you got a friendship base there of hopefully a bunch of anglers that are coming through with you and fishing that division or FLW or any other, the NPFL or anything else out there. So guys, Bethel University is where it's at. I mean, like I said, they've been a powerhouse for years. So, guys, follow his journey in 2023. It's going to be a great season for him. I mean, a fourth, and an 18th. 6 more events left. We're going to try to get him back on at the end of the year and do a wrap up. And hopefully, he'll be fishing the Bassmaster Elite Series in 2024. Guys, appreciate everybody listening. Thank you to everyone that I got to meet at the Open. It was an awesome event. Again, if you ever get a chance to go to one, it's low key. That's one of the coolest things about it too. There's going to be elite anglers. There's going to be at least a couple there fishing it. Get open, get autographs. I mean, it was like, it wasn't like thousands of people there. It might have been 100, might have been 150. So it's your opportunity to meet anglers on many different skill levels fishing the Bassmaster Opens series, and for them to get a chance, like I said, to qualify to fish in the elites in 2024. So, guys, appreciate you. Thank you. We'll be back next week. Oh, I forgot to mention, congratulations, Mr. John Cox, on an FLW event. I wanted to get him on here really soon. We're going to talk about that hopefully next week after the Bassmaster event that's going on this week wraps up. So we get our boy, Mr. John Cox, back on. Appreciate you guys. Have a great night, everyone. Don't forget, hit that follow button, hit that like button. Bassmaster Radio. Bassmaster Radio. You guys can go follow our YouTube channel. Please hit the follow button. And for you guys who are listening on the podcast, leave us a comment and hit the follow button, download button, whatever it is on Google Play, Apple, Spreaker. We have them all covered, even Alexa. So appreciate you guys listening. Have a great week, everyone. Be safe out there. Happy Mother's Day. And we'll be talking to you next week.